Welcome guys, Ryan here from the London Craftsman again, and today's video is all about how to join a panel to make an extra large panel. If you've got some small material and you need to make a bigger piece, for example putting two offcuts together and you're trying to maximize your materials, I'm going to show you how with just a few simple tools. So let's go ahead and get cracking. Right, so we've got Sean here demonstrating for you. Hello, hello. And what he's doing, if you just lay them out and show them what you're trying to achieve. So we've got two panels. And for our ultimate workbench, we're trying to make large panels, and that width from there to there is actually is actually 1556, right? Now, and a full size sheet isn't 1556, it's 1220. So we put a joint. We need to put some kind of dowel or connector in between to keep the materials flush, give it a little bit more strength. And also we need some form of fixing. So our fixing is going to be our pocket hole, and our connector type is going to be a biscuit. We've gone for a biscuit just because most of you are more likely to have a biscuit machine rather than a domino machine. Domino machines are sort of like 700 quid. You can pick up a budget version of these for 60 quid. They range all the way up to 300-400 quid. We've got a Makita version we're using for you today, and our pocket hole is a trend pocket hole jig, which is absolutely fantastic. We love it, and probably cost you about 60 to 80 pounds, depending where you live. So what we've done is we marked out where we want our biscuits to go, and these biscuits are just going to be little slots within the edges. We've put 3 100 million, 100, one in the center. So we're going to go ahead and biscuit those first, and Sean's got these marks here on the top. Can you see little pencil lines? He's marked them on both pieces, and we're now ready to put the biscuit slots on. So he's going to turn them around, keeping both the same faces up. He's flipped them around, and all he needs to do is get to one edge at a time. That's why one's sticking out a little bit further. He's got his biscuit machine, fence put down. There we go. He could have clamped his work as well, but Sean, being a professional, let's clamp this. Let's show the ladies and gentlemen that we're going to do it properly. Let's get a clamp. Right, clamp's on now. So like I said, we got the fence down, and that's going to go up against the work. We're pushing down nice and firmly on our biscuit machine. Hold it nice and tight and plunge it. Don't go mad with the plunging. Nice and slowly. So that's the first piece done. So he's going to release the clamps. Move that piece out of the way. Now he's going to biscuit the other side. We're using size 10 biscuits. Any brand will do. Depending what deals you can get, we just buy them in bulk. So we just buy like 5,000, 10,000 at any one go. And I think just a size 10 is absolutely fine for this purpose. Other size biscuits are a 0. If you're doing really fine work where you've got a minimal amount of space, use a 0, they're smaller. If you're going for big work and you want more glue surface area on your biscuit, go for a 20. Just make sure you change the setting on your Makita, on your Biscuiter, with this little setting here, okay? 20, 10, 0. Sticking it back on the 10 there. Right, so let's show you what we got. So there we go, we've got our biscuit slots. One side there, one side there, side there, and just simply put that in, Sean, and you can see they slot together lovely. Okay, lovely. All right, so let's pull that apart, and now we're going to show you how to use the pocket hole. So the pockets are going to go on the face that you're not going to see. This is our scene face because we've got labels up. We put our labels on our good face so we know when we select our timber, good face always up. So let's flip those around. I'll give you a hand, Sean. Cameraman will do some work. There we go. So now we're turning both faces around. And now we need to mark out where our pocket holes are going to go. So what we've got here is we've got a slot, and a slot. We want to put a screw here, one in between the two biscuits there, one in between the two biscuits, and one on the end. We come in 50 from any edge. Don't come in any closer than 50, otherwise you'll split out the edge. 50, so we're going to go for 4 there. We're going to be putting the pocket hole itself onto the smaller offcut. I'm guessing it can just be any, you can put it on this side if you really wanted to, but it's easier to maneuver your workpiece around and machine it as a smaller piece. So that's what we're going to be sticking to. He's coming in 50, 200, flips it around 50, 200, right? It's going to turn the piece around. Remember, we only need to put a pocket hole on one of these components, not like the Biscuiter, where we had to biscuit both. And he's clamping this jig on, so the hole is facing down into the face, into the back face, okay, the face that is marked. Okay, remember, this is the edge with the biscuits too. Don't be, just check, make sure you're not doing on the wrong edge, okay? He's simply lined up this one, we're not using both, which is using one for now, lined up that hole roughly with his pencil line. You can see the pencil line there. Okay, the drill pit supplied in the drill, speed number 2. And he's just going to go for it. He's not going to go for it in one go. He's going to take his time, get rid of the waste, let the waste out. In and out, in and out, in and out. So we're not burning, it cuts through nice and easy. There we go. We'll take that off, we'll show you what a pocket hole is. So there we go. We've got one little pocket hole, so what that's done is create the countersink and the hole. You can just see it. We've just set it up just so you'd see the tiniest little dot. So that's where the screw is going to come out, right? So let's go ahead and pre-drill the rest of those. He's lining up each one every time, the center of that hole to his pencil line. Sound like Darth Vader with that mask on. Health and safety. These are so tough, these pockets. We've only been using them for a year or so ourselves. Known about them, but not thought they were going to be any good. I know a lot of American people use this. They're a lot more a lot more used in America than over here in the UK. But you know, they are great for sort of like face frames of wardrobes and cabinets. They really do have their time and their place. So, you know, if I was going to put that up there with the most useful tool, I would say one of the most useful tools you can buy for the amount of money that you're spending. That and a plunge saw. 2 essentials for any DIYer, I'd say. Anyway, so there we go. Pocket 4 of them, and you can see the positioning in relation to the biscuits, right? So now we've got that. Next thing we want to do, you don't necessarily have to do this. We're going to put a little bit of glue on our biscuits and our edge. So once we screw it together, it's not coming apart for love nor money. And over here, what we've done is we've set up a little bench. And we put Celotex on this, which, you know, the floor protection stuff, because when the glue squidges out, we could just wipe it. Right, so Sean, if you bring those over. There we go, so now we're ready. So we need to glue an edge. So the edge I suggest is this edge here. So we need to put some glue on the edge and inside the biscuit slots. There we go, so what we're gonna do is just gonna put some glue in now. Don't worry about how much. If it squidges out, it's not to worry because we can wipe it off, and that's what we got the bucket behind us for. Got ourselves a sponge. So Sean just put it in the biscuit slot first, put the biscuit in, and then we can go ahead and glue all the edge and the rest of the biscuit sticking out. This is going to get put together as a carcass, this component. So by the time it's put together with the other the other three pieces and we've got a backing on, it's going to reinforce this joint. This is why I'm not too worried how much glue goes in. There we go, perfect. That's lovely. So now we're just going to let it down, put it into the existing slots on the bigger piece. Beautiful. Yep, all good, just lining it up so they're both at the same levels, top and bottom. Now we're good to go with the screws. So before we screw up, as we're screwing into ply, if you've got ply, it's got layers, you just need to make sure that, you know, it's going to want to raise on you a little bit. When the screw goes into the ply, it's going to want to make a little step. So we've got these clamps on the edges at least. Put a clamp on the joint, and that's going to minimize how much it moves. We can do a bit of sanding on these, remember. So if there are any steps, small little steps, we're going to sand those out. And now, just simply putting pocket screws in. Be careful not to over tighten them. These screws are self-tappers. They've got a little drill bit on the end. You'll feel the resistance. Use speed number 1 on your drill. And we need to try and push down on that to keep the surfaces flush. Like I said, because it's ply, the screw's finding the layer on the other side and it's pushing them out. But this is where the biscuit comes into play, just stopping them moving. Lovely, so we've got nice flat flush surfaces. And we're just going to do the same. And last but not least, right, so we can release that now. So that is basically the job done. But before we go and finish up, we've got a little sponge here. If you just wring that out, get the glue off it, dip it in the water, squeeze it out completely. Let's get rid of all that glue. If we're staining, which we are, ply, anything with a porous surface, we need to get that glue off. Otherwise, any stain is not going to soak in. We're using an Osmo oil. It's a wood wax oil. So we just need to make sure that we've got rid of all of that. Give it a good old wipe. We just got a little bit of blue rag. Just to dry the water. Using it to get all the excess water off. If you're doing this with MDF, be careful how much water you put on. I'd suggest not using a very, very wet. You know, dip that in and squeeze as much water out as you can before you touch MDF. And make sure it's dry as quick as you can. All right, we're going to flip that over. Remember, this face isn't seen, but now the other face, when we flip it around, we need to wipe our surface with the sponge. This is why we use Corex. There you go, same procedure. Right, this is the face that we want to see. This is the seam face, so we're going to go and make sure everything is off. Yeah, it's essential. If you want to do a good job, you know, spend that extra little bit of time getting that glue off and doing the job properly. And a quick dry. Right, so that is exactly how you join a panel, nice and strong. It really is tough. Yeah, it's a tough way. Pockets are stronger than you think. Plus, you know, can you tell me any other way to join two panels without clamps or any other fixings? Not really. So there you go, guys. Job done. Panel made. Nice oversized panel, just glued together. Biscuits, pocket hole, nice and simple. Cheap tools, you don't need to spend a fortune. Maybe 100, 150 quid to get yourself a nice setup there if you're doing a lot of these things. So I hope that's helped. If you've got any questions, fire them at me. Remember, like and subscribe. Our channel really relies on all those sort of things. Share the love if you like our channel and you like the content. Apart from that, guys, take it easy, have a good one, and see you in the next video.